Well, it's a pleasure to be looking at you with the Côte d'Azur in the background.
Anything I can't say, Meg?
Lots of things.
Cool. Whenever you guys are ready.
I wanted to talk this morning about the power of premium content and the future of that.
I think this is the most exciting time to be in our business, in the creative business, for those that choose to accept that challenge, right? I think we're here, and a lot of people are talking about creativity, which is great. I think where we are today, people have gotten back to creativity. But from our point of view, and from my partner Jason Peterson's point of view, advertising is moving from being creatives to creators. And when you think about content, you think about premium content and how brands can play a role in that, the idea of creating content is really at the core of creativity now. We talk about the idea in advertising all the time, but that idea isn't just about having a great tagline or a great concept. It's about bringing that through to actually the creation of content, which is new for the business, I think, today.
This is always the pulse check where we're able to sit down with the premium, high-level clients in a relaxed environment, get everybody to free flow information. I mean, for me, sure, we'll get some deals done here, and that's great, and that codifies the investment. But the strategy, the level of information that we get from a strategy perspective is, in my opinion, priceless.
Well, you know, I'm an aficionado of Hamilton. I've seen the show 7 times. I'm truly an aficionado, and the favorite cut from the album for me from the show was the song "No One Else Was in the Room Where It Happened."
Yeah.
I think MediaLink as a company is fortunate to be in a lot of rooms where it happens, but what I would say, Cannes is the room where it happens.
Yep.
And you're here and you're part of it and you learn from being here and you do study what others do.
Yep.
And you know, you talked about premium publishers and premium content. Last year's story was brand safety.
Yep.
Last year, everybody was talking about brand safety.
Yep.
Joanne Ross, my favorite upfront in years was Joanne Ross at CBS standing up and showing a sinking cruise ship and an ad for a cruise line next to it. And I remember it well. Joanne said, "This ship does not happen on CBS." Okay.
But I feel like we really kind of shot ourselves in the foot, you know, retargeting.
Right.
And like I get that same ad, I just
Right.
purchased something and I get it over and over and over again.
Right, it's waste.
It's waste.
Right.
And so I think we got to reestablish that trust with the consumer.
Right.
And level set. So this is all a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you touched on trust, because to me, trust has been the red thread of all the events here
Yeah.
at 2018 Cannes, and I mean, not just brand transparency and bot fraud and trust in each other as human beings, and trust in but also trust in the creative process,
Right.
and trust that what we do for a living and the service that we provide to brands is actually meaningful and makes a difference, right? You talked about being retargeted, a digital ad. You know, people click on those by mistake. You know, maybe they have branding impact, but I think you know, when you look at the click-through rates on the KPIs, it's usually typically people that, you know, you maybe hit the wrong button on their phone. You know, I know I've done that a lot. Mm-hmm. And so we have that's
especially on the phone.
Yeah, especially on the phone. And I think that's our pushing into efficiency with content is important for us, but we need to make sure we do it in a more meaningful way.
One of the things we've been talking about this year, though, is it's great that the trade associations, and I have great respect for them, do what they do. But you have to put the clients at the center.
Totally.
The clients are the client.
They're the reason we're here.
Yeah,
to
the
your point.
clients are the center now. And today, more and more clients are more and more intelligent about these things. They're less reliant on their agencies, which isn't necessarily a good or bad thing, but they're doing more insourcing and more in-housing.
And they have the capabilities to.
Well, so exactly my
first time,
point. So put them in the center.
Yeah. We talk about the clients being at the center. Once we cement that and understand what that story is, do you think that there's an opportunity to communicate to the consumers on what the value proposition is? We talk about data. I just feel like our industry, there's a Got Milk campaign out there somewhere, and who could make a better campaign than the advertising industry?
Well, when I grew up, I lived in Los Angeles. I was born in New York, but I grew up in Los Angeles. And All we had to do back then was put rabbit ears on the television, and I could watch channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13.
It was very simple.
For free. I didn't pay anything. There was no cable.
Right.
It was rabbit ears, or if you were wealthy enough, you put an antenna up on your roof.
Yeah.
And it was free, except the value exchange, the quid pro quo was, whether it was television or getting in my car or turning on my AM, FM radio,
news,
it
yeah.
was free,
Yeah.
except I had to agree in a tacit fashion to be available
Watch and listen.
to either listen and or watch the commercial messages, which subsidized my content. Today, the consumer has to understand at some level that the data that has become available to the publishers is being monetized. Otherwise, then you got to pay for stuff. IP isn't going to be created for free. That's not happening.
And I feel that nobody's communicated that to them. I feel that nobody has said in a vehicle, we've seen GDPR unfold over the past year. To my recollection, never did I see anybody message the consumer, if this goes a certain way, this could be your new internet bill. $10 for this site, $10 for that site, $10 for this site, $10 if we pay for subscriptions, if we're in an ad-free world. When it comes to branded content, for the brands that you guys represent, what are you seeing the trends in the future therein?
I think the best brands in the world, and even the best agencies in the world, have realized that our industry is moving from creatives to creators.
Yeah.
We talked about that a minute ago. And in order to do that, a few things have to happen. One is that you have to have people on your team that understand not only how to develop an idea, but how to create that idea and have that idea and market in real time.
Yep.
The most important thing to do that is to be able to understand the data component of that. What types of content should we be creating? Where should we be creating? And how do we get it into the marketplace in front of the right people? One of the clients that we work with is Coca-Cola, and they, obviously being a great marketer, have a point of view on content creation, especially as it relates to, I would call it social and digital content.
Yeah.
Is how do we find a way for our brands to be relevant in real time? How do we create content in real time? So when you have a model where you have content creators, strategy people, and analytics people together on one team, co-located with the client, you're able to create content and do it in a more meaningful, relevant way, and in a much more efficient way.
Paul, thanks again for your time.
It's my pleasure.
It's incredibly beneficial and helpful to hear your perspective and where you think trends are going, and keep innovating. It's amazing what you guys have done.
Thank you so much.
Michael, thank you so much for your insight. It's so valuable and your time spent
Well,
here.
it's my pleasure.
Incredible.